Hi everyone. So today I want to talk a bit about supplementation during pregnancy, supplements and vitamins and things like that. Now this topic is a little bit out of my remit, and I'm a little bit nervous to make a video about it. But I've been asked lots and lots of questions about it recently, and there's some really crappy advice out there, and a lot of women feel like they're not getting the support and the advice that they need from their doctors. While I don't intend this to replace medical advice at all, this just might help you fill in some of the gaps, especially when it comes to the type of supplements that you should be taking. Obviously you shouldn't self-diagnose, and I certainly can't diagnose you over the internet, but there might be some different options available to you that you're not aware of. This video is probably going to speak a lot to women in Israel, Anglos in Israel. That's where I live, and so the specific products that that I have are from the Israeli market, but there are equivalents everywhere, and I'm sure there's the same brands in a lot of places. Okay, so with that said, let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is iron supplementation. This is like the most common thing that pregnant women tend to need to take. Definitely not saying go and take iron supplementation. If your doctor says that you need iron supplementation, then you should take some. Just a couple of things to bear in mind that I have that I've picked up is that often the ranges that are available, that when we do a blood test, for example, and it gives us a hemoglobin reading, those ranges include the entire population. So they include all ages, they include men, they include non-pregnant women. So quite often pregnant women show up quite low on this scale, but it doesn't mean that you have low iron for a pregnant woman. If you're on the lower end of normal, you're probably okay. It doesn't mean you shouldn't take iron supplementation. I'm just saying, like, it's not cause for panic until it gets like significantly lower than what like Maccabi and Clalit sort of have as their recommended ranges. But in any case, most pregnant women will be recommended an iron supplement, and it's probably a good idea to take it anyway, because pregnancy does mess with your iron levels a lot, and if you have low iron, you're likely to get really tired. And most of us get recommended something like this, like folic or this ferrofol, and they are pretty huge doses of what I believe to be quite artificial sources of iron. And another thing I forgot to mention is what pregnant women, how much iron pregnant women need a day. So men need something like 8 grams of iron, 8 milligrams of iron a day. Menstruating women need twice as much as that, and pregnant women need something like 28 milligrams of iron during pregnancy. I can't remember the mechanism that makes us use up iron really quickly, but I'm planning to write a big blog post on this. So we need really big amounts of iron, and it's quite hard to hit that when you start looking at what's in different foods. It's really hard to meet those totals, and lots of women nowadays don't eat red meat. I personally do, but I had a bit of an aversion to it through pregnancy, so that's one of the best sources of iron and most bioavailable sources of iron. So if you add nausea and food aversions to the mix, it can get really, really hard to start hitting our iron quota for the day. So these supplements are usually recommended. What a lot of women tend to find with these sorts of supplementations is that they cause either constipation or diarrhea, or a lot of women find that they make their poo go black, which isn't particularly pleasant, but doctors don't really care because this is what they recommend, and it might be a bit unpleasant for you if you're having this like black diarrhea, but the doctor he might switch you from one brand to another. But ultimately the reason why is, like I said, we need something like 28 milligrams of iron a day during pregnancy, and these have 100 milligrams. So the body can't absorb all of that, and when you can't absorb, it's a good thing that we can't absorb all of that, but when you intake too much iron, your body just poos it out. It's not something that builds up in the body, which is why it turns the poo black. But these are pretty like potent, like blasts of iron, and like kind of pretty artificial as well. So that's why the body kind of reacts a bit badly to it. They're not very digestible. Some women might not have a problem with them at all, but this is the sort of feedback that I've got a lot from women, and that I experienced myself, like black diarrhea. And there are other options on the market. There's like gentle iron. There's a few things available. I did have a version from Solgar, which is generally a really reputable vitamin and mineral company. This EcoSup is so that gentle iron from Solgar was something like, I can't remember, something like 25 milligrams of iron. This EcoSup has each thing has like, it doesn't say how much it has. I think it's about 6 milligrams of iron in this. In each kind of like serving, something like that. These prenatal supplements that are also from Solgar have 6 or 7 milligrams of iron in each capsule. And the brand that I was like most recommended is this Spatone iron supplement. Spatone, something like that. And they're like these like liquid capsule. This one's like apple flavor. I'm not like promoting them or anything. I'm not getting any money from them, but they, I've had this like recommended to me. The thing is that I don't know, how much does this have in it? So this has, it has something like 5 milligrams. Sorry, it has 5 milligrams of iron in each one of these. So quantities or dosage is way, way lower when you buy these more like natural iron supplements. If you think we need 28 milligrams a day and we're only getting 5 from each of these, and then there's 100 milligrams in this, it kind of seems like, okay, well, which one, like this seems like the obvious choice. However, we don't know how much we're absorbing of each of those. I certainly don't know how much we're absorbing. I've been told by my pharmacist that this one is really easily absorbed, but again, I just don't know. Like, I can't measure how much my body is absorbing, or how much your body's absorbing. It just isn't it isn't something that I can, that any of us can really measure. So that's just something to keep in mind. I have been told to take something like this twice a day to increase, so that you're increasing the dosage at different times in the day. A couple of other tips to improve absorption is to not eat any iron supplements with dairy. It doesn't mean don't eat dairy, just don't take the iron supplements with the dairy, because of some mechanism where the dairy will flush out the iron, and also to take vitamin C. And you can take vitamin C supplements, or like with the iron, or you could take like a glass of orange juice or something like that. That's supposed to help absorption. I don't have any studies, I don't have anything that like compares one product to the other, but there are a few things that I've tried. Honestly, my iron hasn't gone up during pregnancy, so I don't know if any of this is even effective. But maybe my iron would be way, way lower if I hadn't been taking this stuff. I just don't know. Again, I'm not telling you take an iron supplement or don't take an iron supplement. My doctor told me to take an iron supplement, so I'm taking one. I just didn't like the effect, the digestive effects of these ones. So I looked for softer options. So it's just an attempt to kind of show you some different things that are out there, and like the pros and cons of them, and so that you can make the decision for yourself. The other thing, the really obvious one that I should have started with is a folic acid supplement. I believe you're supposed to take 400 milligrams or micrograms a day of folic acid, and this is really important in the initial stages of pregnancy and prior to pregnancy. It prevents a condition, I believe it's spina bifida. I didn't really ask too many questions about this, I just took this, no real side effects. I actually split these in half, because I had 200 milligrams already in my prenatal supplement, my prenatal vitamin. So I didn't want to take too much, but then I was told by my doctor that I'm stupid, because if you take more, the body just flushes it out anyway. I don't know, but like I chose to just take less. It also meant that the same box went a bit further. I didn't have to buy another pot of this stuff. Okay, so the other thing is like a prenatal vitamin. It's just an all-round one. Definitely don't have to take this, and in general, if we have a good diet, we don't need to take any sort of vitamin or mineral supplementation. I take Solgar because it's supposed to be a good brand that has good quality vitamins. But how much is being absorbed? How much is it really doing? I really don't know, and I don't think anyone else really does. And part of me thinks that vitamins and tablets and stuff like that are probably just a scam, and we just have no idea how much is getting absorbed into our system. But nonetheless, I still take it because I'm worried. Like, I basically, especially in my first trimester, I couldn't eat well at all. I spent, for the best part of 2 months, I didn't eat anything other than bread and butter. So I didn't feel like I couldn't eat a single vegetable. I was eating some fruits, but I didn't feel like I was getting a wide enough range of vitamins and minerals. So I took this just in case. I was like, well, it can't do any harm. So I took it just in case. And same throughout the rest of my pregnancy, even though I didn't have nausea throughout the rest of it, like I did have food aversions and didn't really enjoy eating the range of foods that I usually eat. So, and I was more tired, so I couldn't be bothered making salads and things like that. So it just felt like a little bit of a safety net. Again, I'm not promoting it or saying you should use this, but that's what a lot of people recommend, and it seems like a sensible option, and a lot of people that I trust recommend vitamin supplementation outside of pregnancy, so I don't see any reason why not to do that during pregnancy if your diet isn't on point. That's it for all the kind of like important stuff, even though none of this is like essential. But again, like talk to your doctor, and if they recommend supplementing any of this stuff, then it's worth then you should take a look at some of these brands maybe. Okay, just like 3 more ones that you could consider taking. An omega-3 supplement. It's important to check what type of omega-3 supplement you're taking. If you do decide to take an omega-3, because if it's a fish oil supplement, so it's from the kind of body or the flesh of the fish, so it's often called like fish oil or omega-3 supplement. It's usually safe to take during pregnancy, whereas the cod liver oil is not safe to take during pregnancy because it has really high levels of a certain type of vitamin A that's a vitamin that does accumulate in the system. Again, don't take my word for that. Go and check with your pharmacist, check with your doctor what you can take, what you can't take. The reason to take omega-3 is that it's an essential oil, it's an essential fatty acid that we have to get through our diet. The body, when we say an essential fatty acid, it means one that the body can't make from other fatty acids. So it is an important part, it should be an important part of our diet. Having said that, you need to check. So it can be really good for the development of the baby's brain and eyes, or at least that's what we're told, that's what the story is around omega-3. So it's worth checking out. There's also a lot to learn about the quality of omega-3 in terms of EPA and DHA. They're the 2 forms of omega-3 that we most need, but that's a little bit too much detail for this post. So ask your care provider if this is something that you should consider taking, or if it's safe to take. One more thing I wanted to say about omega-3. Oh yeah, if you have a lot of fatty fish in your diet, you don't need to take omega-3. If you're getting enough, and there are other sources of omega-3 as well, if you're getting enough of it through your diet, you don't need to take a supplement. But supplements can be really useful when we don't eat enough fish. I don't eat enough fish, I'm busy, I don't always buy it, it's expensive. I should eat more, but I'm lazy, so I don't. So this can be really good to take. And again, these are general recommendations from outside of pregnancy that you can apply to pregnancy. But there are certain types that are not safe to take in pregnancy, so you need to double check that. I am actually taking a probiotic. My midwife recommended that I took one because it can help prevent GBS, the bacteria that they check for prior to birth. I haven't done my own research on that. I took her word for it. Again, not recommending it, but it's something that you could potentially take. In general, I have good digestion, so it's not really to help that. But again, check with your health provider. And finally, magnesium helps with night cramps. I don't take this every day, but if I did have some cramps the night before, I'll take a tablet, and I usually don't get bothered by it again. But again, that's really not a necessary supplement at all. So that's just a kind of an overview of some supplements that you could take, some of them more important than others, or some of them less important than others. It obviously is really important to have a balanced, healthy diet. First and foremost, that's way more important than any supplementation. But if you're pregnant, a healthy, balanced, perfect diet probably isn't gonna happen. If you're anything like me, you'll have horrible nausea and won't be able to eat anywhere near how you would like to be eating, and that's okay. And if you have young kids as well, I don't have any children. I have no idea how women go through pregnancy with young children to look after and make food for and all of that stuff. So be easy on yourself. The supplementation is there to help when you're not quite getting the diet that you wish you could be getting. Don't take anything that your doctor hasn't recommended, or that you should ask your doctor about everything. But there's just a few things that I've learned about some of the most common supplements that women take during pregnancy, and just to help you navigate that a little bit. So yeah, give me any feedback, let me know what you think, if I've missed anything, if you disagree with anything. Thanks for listening.